I mean, obviously the biggest challenge, let's be positive, for the asset management industry right now is indexing. And I think the move to passive is doing multiple things. One is obviously reducing the active base that you can attract in terms of dollars as a fund manager, an active fund manager. That's part of it. The second part, which is also happening, is that it puts pressure on fees. And I think the odds are fees will come down over time. Part of it is driven by passive, part of it is driven by technology, and part of it is driven by scale. Again, more and more of the money is going to the bigger players now, so that's going to put more pressure on fees. And I think that's going to be a challenge for smaller fund managers. Because when you're small, the fees may seem like a lot, but if you're small in dollar terms, they're not relative to cost basis of running that money. I think there's still, and maybe I'm basically just in denial, but I think there is a place for active management. We probably have more active managers than we need. One interesting thing is a study that I forgot who did it, but there was a recent study where they looked at funds in big fund houses, like the fund supermarkets, versus funds that are outside those big houses, and they also looked at the active share of fund managers. So basically, who's trying to run their portfolio so it's very close to the index, with plus or minus around. The derogative term is closet indexers. And who's actually genuinely just building a portfolio of best ideas and not paying attention to the benchmark. And what they've seen is that there's definitely a much bigger percentage of active indexers in closet indexers in those big mutual fund families, which makes sense from a business point of view, because you want to be able to offer these products to investors, and you're running it for efficiency. You're not running it to generate lumpy alpha. So you want to be closer to the index with plus or minus. That makes business sense, even if it's not necessarily best for the investors long term. And then they looked at active share, and again, the fund managers who had very active share actually have a disproportionate amount of outperformance, and they've looked at it through time. And if you look at the data, the percentage of fund managers who outperform, active fund managers who outperform, has come down. But that's explained by this trend towards, since especially the 80s and 90s, towards these supermarkets where they want to offer everything. And so the fund managers who have historically started out doing their own thing, those have done fine, essentially, on average. It's just the industry has moved in a way where they're closet indexing and charging fees as if they're doing full active management, and I think that goes away. I think you end up with a smaller industry, more of a boutique approach to, and boutique can be hundreds of millions, but I think it makes less sense to have 100 active funds under an umbrella.